Hello, welcome to this episode of Hampton Roads Business Live. My name is Rory Graham and I'm your host, and today we have with us Mike Longworth from the Nice School of Dance in Virginia Beach. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing well. Thank you, Rory.
Why don't you give us an overview of Nice School of Dance, just a kind of a brief overview, and then we'll talk a little bit more about some specifics.
Okay. Well, Nice School of Dance started locally 12 years ago, October of 2012. We opened in Virginia Beach down on Princess Anne near Tidewater Community College. And the purpose of the director when she opened the studio was to provide a welcoming, open, and safe environment for youngsters and adults to learn dance, to enjoy dance, and become good dancers is the bottom line.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And now you have two studios, do you?
Yes, we have a studio there, as I mentioned, near Tidewater Community College on Princess Anne, and another out at Red Mill. We opened the Red Mill location 4 years ago. There's a little difference at the Red Mill location. In addition to offering our dance disciplines, we also offer instruction in piano, guitar, and voice. Mm-hmm. And we've added a theater department out there also, so we instruct acting classes.
Okay. All right. Well, you're pretty full studio then. Okay.
Pretty busy. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I knew about the voice, but I didn't know about the other one. So this is a learning experience, and I've been working with you for a number of years as well. Mm-hmm. So I've enjoyed the recitals, and we're going to talk about those in a minute. What is different about your studio, do you think? I mean, I know there's a couple things you just mentioned, is you have the guitar and the piano and things mm-hmm. like that, but what would you say is some of the primary differences that set you apart?
Well, we like to, and we do offer a safe environment for our youth. All of our music is screened so that it's not anything that's suggestive or denigrating. Even, how youth hear those things and they can have an impact. So we're very careful with the music that we use. Additionally, with our, particularly at our recital time, and of course during the year, the apparel is important to us, so that, age-appropriate apparel, and even for the adults. I mean, we don't want our adults wearing scantily clad costumes at the recital, mm-hmm. as an example. So it's all very age appropriate and modest is probably the best word for that.
Okay. All right. And what types of dance do you teach?
Just about every discipline you can think of. Ballet, to include point for the older students. Jazz, we have hip hop. And we also have a combination of jazz and hip hop, which we call jazz hop. Mm-hmm. Modern ballet, and that should cover it. Right
okay. There. And what is the age range that your students are?
3 years old is a minimum. Our youth program is designed to go basically to 18, so 3 through 18. And then we have adult classes. And we have several of our teens. It depends a little bit. Sometimes they'll go right from teen to adult classes. We do our higher level teen classes. Sometimes they'll stay in those until their early 20s. So we have dancers, the adults that are in their 60s.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about the recitals. Now I'm very familiar with the recitals because mm-hmm. we shoot your shows. But tell everybody what is a little different about your recitals.
All right. Well, our recitals are designed for the students to perform in each of the disciplines in which they've had class. An example would be for our kindergarten dance program, they'll take ballet and tap. Our director works very diligently to purchase costumes. It can be what we call a 2-in-1. And so they dance in a tap number and a ballet number. And that continues, for instance, 5, 6 would be ballet, tap, and jazz. And then after that, it really widens up. But for whatever class they're in, they're going to dance in the number.
Okay. All right. And your shows, I mean, each studio does things a little differently because we do a number of different studios, but your studio, one of the differences, if someone asked me about that, I would say yours is story-based recitals, which is quite different than what other people do. Right. That's a unique approach.
Yeah, the director spends most of the fall developing a story, and the themes are popular stories that everyone's familiar with. But she'll take the music from those stories and integrate similar but different tunes so that everyone is dancing. We don't repeat music, but it all sort of goes toward that particular end. So it is very different. She has repeated a couple of them, but each time there are changes that go along. So it's a storybook theme, generally speaking, ending with a point at the end.
Right, and so now your shows are at the Opera House,
right,
in Norfolk.
The Harrison Opera House. That's correct.
Okay, and 2 shows.
We do. Red Mill Studio does typically a Friday night, and then the Princess Anne Studio on Saturday night.
Okay, and so what are your goals for someone coming to your school?
Well, it really depends on what the person wants. I mean, the director wants the instruction to be fun and enjoyable, but also to be good instruction. So those were our 2 major goals. Good instruction made fun for the students so that they learn. We have students who've come to us and start off as youth, even here in the Virginia Beach area. We've just been open 12 years, but some of those that came in at 5 or 6 years old, perhaps, we've had them do well enough that they're accepted into the governor's school and some of these other programs, and even with the Joffrey Ballet summer program. So once the student is into the early teens, it's a matter of what they want. The director provides enough opportunity for them to hone their skills and be very competitive.
Okay. All right. And now, how about your performing arts? Is there something about that you'd like to address? Because that's something I know nothing about, actually.
Right. The performing arts out at Studio 4, what we've been able to do there is train the students in acting and then incorporate them into a recital, such that we do have speaking parts, and so we've just taken and we've introduced the performing arts students. Now this is in the theater part, not the theater and vocal, not the piano. That's been a little more difficult, but certainly those who compete for one of the acting spots. And then as appropriate, we'll incorporate the singers too.
It was kind of hard to work a piano into the recital.
Right, yeah.
Well, you could do Peanuts. You could
something like that. Yeah.
Well, tell Lisa I suggested that.
Okay, it's okay. I can do that.
All right. So let's talk about someone is interested in more information. Of course, I know that they could go to your website and all, but what is the process? Someone says, you know, I'm interested, I have a child and would like to talk to you about it. Do they call and make an appointment? Is there a consultation? What's the process?
Well, a couple ways. Our studio receptionists are available from 4 in the afternoon to 7. They can drop in, or they can call the studio numbers. And if they call and they just want to do business and register on the phone and ask questions, we'll do that. We can mail them information. So we try to make that pretty user-friendly. Most people, what we're finding now, will have gone to the website, looked at the schedule, and have an idea of what fits for them. But we're willing to help them walk through that. So going to the website is a key.
Okay.
Right there. Very helpful.
All right. Well, is there anything that I haven't covered that you wanted to mention?
I think not. I would like just to reiterate, you know, an environment that is a healthy environment that will challenge the student that stays with dance particularly through their teens, to be a very skilled knowledgeable, very competitive in their field.
And speaking of that, I read a study that showed that students who took dance, it improved their academics, it improved their, it had so many benefits to them in other areas of life, confidence level, learn to perform in front of a group of people, like that, agility, I guess you would say they're not as awkward and all. So there's a lot of other side benefits to dance as well.
Right.
So, okay.
I can agree with that. I know that typically our recital lead will have a male and female lead character, if you will. And typically the young ladies who are the leads are in several advanced placement classes. They typically are achieving either straight A's or nearly straight A's.
Well, it helps in goal setting.
Right.
It helps in teamwork and things like that. This study was a great boom for dance studios. So I was thinking, wow, I'm surprised every dance school doesn't have that up on their wall.
Right.
You know.
Well, and just as you would expect in learning to dance, which is a discipline, the students, the younger students then become very disciplined in what they do, their time discipline.
And rewarded by achieving what they set out for. So,
Right.
yeah. All right. Well, if you have a child that you are considering putting in dance, a lot of schools in the area, be sure to contact Mike and Lisa at the Nice School of Dance, 2 locations in Virginia Beach. Their contact information is at the end of this video, and it's also at the bottom of this page, and I'm sure that they would be glad to answer any of your questions. And of course, their website is full of information as well. I thank you very much for coming in. I wish you and Lisa the best, and it looks like you guys have been around a long time, obviously. You know what you're doing, so I'm sure you'll have another great year, but I look forward to your next recital.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.